I'll get us another hour.
I'm sorry, can you?
You're back, we're back
Yes.
up and operating, yes, I think we were up to, 5, redevelopment deviations.
Right,
The last being,
the primary entrance to the
Primary
building,
entrances,
which is,
yes.
it's under architectural standards on page 31, item 2.
Right, building shall be generally oriented so that a primary entrance or entrances face the primary street or public open space.
Any others? Okay.
So council, just for reconfirmation that, those 5 items of relief are, stipulated to as being required as deviations from the redevelopment plan, either under the bulk variance standard or in some cases the design waiver standard.
That is correct.
And I take it you have no others that we forgot.
I have not, no, I do not.
The,
Let me take a look back through,
Yes, sir.
no.
no harm in asking, one says. The,
The fifth is
correct,
this
you're
one.
incorrect. The, so we have, that's the relief.
Right,
Which I'll reiterate later when we get to the deliberations.
right, so, that's the lead part, and so it's his. Some, was he finished? He said he would read somewhere.
He hasn't gotten a chance to do a summation yet. But
Okay, which he can, right? That's,
that's an absolute right to do so.
Do we want to go through stipulation discussion first?
Maybe for the state public.
I'm sorry.
What would you like us, would you like us to go through the stipulation?
Yeah, I think so.
Before your submission?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
It's a long
I
list.
think
Let's go.
legally we can, so.
I'll go through it. And we have from, the planning memo, June 25th, comment A, fully engineered plans consistent with architectural set to be
I'm
submitted.
good. Can you, when you're reading, can you
I
just
think
say
he's
it
gonna
on
have
slow?
to give you a list.
Well,
I know,
I'll-
as I'm typing it though,
Comment A, fully engineered plan consistent with architectural set to be submitted. Comment B4, engineered site plan. Comment B6, engineered site plan. Comment B8, the transparency requirements will be complied with. And then there was a reference to the de minimis exception from RSIS, which is actually relief. We've already addressed that. The traffic review memo from Mr. Troutman, May 8th, stipulating to comment 10, which says applicant agrees to allow the first 15 minutes of access to the parking garage free of charge. That's what was stipulated to by the applicant. Engineering review memo for Mr. Brightly, May 7th. Comment 2 and 3 with respect to the, we're agreed to comply with, that's with respect to the electric vehicle and make-ready parking space requirements. Excuse me. Comment 5, the space between curbing and building. Comment 6, cross-section of the entrance will be complied with as part of compliance. Comment 8, there was a clarification from for sheet C4. A lot of this is planned revision and clarification. Comment 9, curbing and sidewalk. Comment 10, clarification of building height. That's now been, I guess, agreed to that the applicant will be seeking the deviation for 5 stories versus 4, notwithstanding the alternative interpretations of the redevelopment plan. Comment 11, grading and drainage plans will be complied with, all the comments. Utility plan, comment 12, the utility plan comments will be complied with. Comment 13, the lighting plan comments will be complied with. Comment 15, the landscape plan comments will be complied with. Comment 16, the construction detail plans will be complied with. Comment 17, the retaining wall, comments will be complied with as part of resolution compliance. Stormwater management comments 2 through 8 will be complied with. Architectural drawings, comments 1, 2, 3 through 8 will be complied with to the extent not already addressed and resolved in testimony. Board inquiries, comment 2, the applicant will submit a revised survey to confirm the monumentation. Other matters, comments 1 through 4 in Mr. Brightly's report will be complied with. Also to be complied with, multiple conversations with representatives of the Bernardsville Fire Prevention Committee. As a result thereof, the applicant agrees to full compliance with the state fire code, including the incorporation of fire pumps where necessary to ensure adequate flow to all parts of the sprinkler system. In addition, the following supplemental measures will be taken by the applicant with respect to fire prevention. Electric vehicle parking spaces will be located in a position adjacent to the open portion of the parking structure along the exterior envelope. 4 direct means of egress will be
I'm sorry,
provided.
you mind just slowing down?
I thought I was getting there fast. 4, you ready? 4 direct means of egress will be provided from the main garage level to the exterior of the structure, including emergency egress via the primary vehicle driveway, which is not enclosed by a garage door. The garage will be fully ventilated via a mechanical exhaust system. No electric bicycle charger will be allowed in the building lobby or the units, and electric bicycle storage will be prohibited in the units. At each unit demising wall, as well as corridor walls, drywall will be extended to the bottom of the deck of the level above. 2 levels of drywall will be provided on each side of unit demising walls and corridor walls. This is all still in connection with fire prevention. The project will be 100% sprinkled via an NFPA 13 system, including, this is important, interstitial, one of my favorite words, interstitial spaces between ceilings and the deck above. This includes sprinkler coverage of the interstitial space above the top occupied floor, i.e. the attic. Steel sprinkler piping will be provided in the pump room as applicable, parking garage and standpipe system. The project will incorporate both mineral wool and fire caulking at floor penetrations to provide additional protection against fire and smoke. And all egress fire doors will include fire glass to provide increased visibility during an emergency. My assumption is that that was all discussed and requested by the fire prevention committee. Also, the applicant agrees to the following general stipulations. The applicant will coordinate construction safety and traffic management with the applicable government agencies, including the Borough Construction Department, Borough Police Department, New Jersey Department of Transportation, and Somerset County Planning Board and Engineering Department. The applicant has performed geotechnical investigations of the site, and the results do not indicate a need for blasting in connection with the project. However, in the event any degree of blasting is proposed, the applicant will comply with all state regulations, and all information filed in connection with the blasting permit will be shared with the borough. In the event that soil contamination is discovered at the site, including but not limited to any contamination associated with underground fuel tanks or past oil spill or spills, the applicant will comply with all state regulations for removal and disposal, including providing requisite notice to the borough. Applicant will serve letters from all utilities serving the project site, including but not limited to New Jersey American Water, confirming the capacity to provide the project with domestic water and fire protection service. Applicant will agree to identify via signage those parking spaces designated for use by retail tenants during business hours, up to a total of 32 spaces. For convenient access to the pedestrian egress to Olcott Square, such spaces shall be located in the western parking bay of lower level 1 and nearby locations on the central ramp or along the southern wall of the garage. In coordination with the board engineer, applicant will agree to install an oil water separator as part of the parking garage drainage system. Refuse and recycling will be removed by way of private waste hauler. All residential movements and move-outs and major retail deliveries will be required to be scheduled via building management. Major deliveries will be required to be scheduled outside of peak morning and evening periods. I assume that's peak traffic periods, Counselor?
Yes,
Peak AM and PM traffic
Correct.
periods.
yeah, that's correct.
Thank you for that clarification. Applicant will require no deliveries in a tractor trailer above SU 40,
It really should be, will not permit
will not permit.
deliveries.
Deliveries in a tractor trailer sized above an SU 40. Applicant will designate the lower level 1 as the Uber pickup drop-off delivery staging location. Applicant will screen the transformer and any potential hotbox subject to utility access and clearance requirements. The project standby generator shall be appropriately sized and wired to provide emergency power sufficient for light systems and elevators in the event of a power outage. There is more. I've had others that the applicant has concurred. The bedroom unit mix will be as proposed, as revised, and as proposed, as revised by the applicant in the most recent hearing, which is an approximation as set forth in the redevelopment plan, which approximation of the stated mix is acceptable. You'll remember the redevelopment plan says approximately a certain bedroom unit mix. The applicant will satisfy the transparency requirements in the redevelopment plan. The applicant will pay the Affordable Housing Trust Fund payment in lieu, as well as all other applicable fees. The Fire and Construction Code provision NJSA 5:23-6.2B.
I'm sorry, can I get that a little slower text?
Sure. NJSA 5:23-6.2.B regarding emergency egress windows shall be complied with.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Just in that regard, we actually looked at that statute and we did not see that specific reference to
Emergency
the
egress.
windows. I think,
I
well,
think you can strike that.
Strike it. I made it.
Okay,
that's fine. We'll comply with all code
Police
requirements,
sprinklers,
certainly, yeah.
I don't think you need emergency egress windows.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
There'll be lighting along the staircase leading to the courtyard as stipulated to by the applicant.
Away from the courtyard? That's an exit only stairway, correct?
So,
The courtyard goes down to the street.
yes, that's correct. I think we were talking about doing lights down there.
Down
Down the
on
stairs.
the,
Yeah,
I wrote it down because I remembered it from the meeting.
yeah.
it's just one way, one direction.
Wrote it down during the meeting. The no passenger vehicles will be entering or exiting Mount Airy Road
I'm sorry, can
entrance.
I, if you could say that.
No
one
problem.
slowly, thanks.
No passenger vehicles will be entering or exiting the Mount Airy Road ingress egress. There'll be emergency activation of the roll-up door on the Mount Airy Road entrance. Well, there's
On Area Road exit.
exit, excuse me. There's a related condition that's forthcoming. So there's more to that one. There'll be a sign at the northeast corner designating the height clearance for entering and exiting that entrance, subject to the review and approval of our engineer. They will follow.
Entering's all that's needed, not exiting.
Entering all.
Without.
That's right, that's right. They can make it in, they can make it out. Unless the heat expands. The requests are, the applicant will request that the borough allow emergency vehicles to pull into the archway in front of the site. And that I suspect will be subject not only to.
I'm
borough-
sorry, couldn't.
That will be, I suspect, subject to not only borough council permission, but also a DOT permission. ultimately.
Yes, and I think what Mr. Korak said, Jay, I don't know if you were here the last time. What he had indicated was that needs to be a request from the borough to the DOT. We can facilitate it, but I think, my understanding, it had to come from the borough. Reality is they're gonna do it anyway, whether either way, but, to legitimize it, I think it has to come from the borough.
Mr. Warner promised a very nice note to the borough, remind the borough
Right, yes.
when we get there.
The applicant will, consider, retrofitting the chimneys or installing them in such a way that they could be utilized for wireless telecommunication facilities, i.e. telecommunication facility ready. Not overlaps. The applicant will, work, with the engineer, subject to his review and approval to confirm clear.
I'm sorry if I could
sightlines.
get that one more time.
The applicant will work with the borough engineer, to confirm clear sightlines for ingress and egress of all vehicles, at the site. And there's more. The applicant will ensure that the roll down gate for the Mount Airy driveway is open prior to any SU 40 delivery truck arriving. The applicant must specify how the subsequent closure of the gate will occur and how exiting vehicles will open the
It's
gate.
not dependent on truck, it's any truck that you decide to go in, that's gonna use that gate.
Well, I think the real issue is just the SU 40 and the potential for it to block the driveway. We're certainly gonna have smaller vehicles, whether maybe the Amazon truck. We set that door so far back specifically for that reason. They're gonna come up, they're gonna have their gate access to the controlled access. The SU 40s are gonna have to be arranged through building management, and we would make sure that it's open when they arrive. And the typical means, I mean, this is gonna be a roll down door that once the vehicle goes through, the door closes, it'll have, some sort of
I understand what you're saying.
device, yeah.
The longer trucks, you would run the risk that it couldn't get all the way down the driveway to the gate, so you want the gate open before the truck arrives.
And then
It's
again,
actually pretty close, but we agreed just to do it to avoid any perception of conflict.
and again, just to remind the members of the public, as with every application, ultimately the board votes on relief sought together with all stipulated two conditions, not in the absence. So this is not a determination, or preliminary determination by the board. This is, making sure they have the accurate relief and conditions associated with the request of the applicant to determine whether the applicant met its burden of proof and is entitled to same or not. Next stipulated two condition I have is, it's currently expected that delivery trucks will be able to turn into the Mount Airy entrance from any direction. Ingress and egress movements to and from the loading area onto Mount Airy Road are subject to the ultimate review and approval.
I'm sorry, do you, if you
Are
could slow down a little
subject
bit.
To the ultimate review and approval of the county of Somerset. And the applicant will provide appropriate signage as it relates to any turning restriction. The applicant will promptly pick up and dispose of construction materials, debris, etc., that in any way escape from the site or the vehicles servicing it. The architectural construction permit plans will show that the apartments have sound attenuation as delineated in the planning board engineer's letter of May 7 at page 11.
Mr. Warner, just in that regard, I believe what the redevelopment plans provide specifically is sound attenuation for the units facing the railroad. And that might actually be in Mr. Baker's report. I didn't look back over it.
Any laydown area will be located on site. That's in connection with construction, of course. Applicant will take immediate remedial action if their approved stormwater compliance plan fails in any way. Any adjustments to the lighting plan must be presented and subject to the review and approval of the board engineer and planner in their reasonable discretion. The applicant owner will strongly discourage tenants and guests from using off-site parking. The applicant owner will set reasonable parking rates and policies for tenants and guests that will discourage them from using off-site parking.
Can I so set you back to the sound attenuation thing? Can I set you back to sound attenuation thing?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Sound attenuation thing. On page 37 of the plan, I don't see anything that says that only applies to the apartments facing the south
The
side.
architectural design.
And living somewhat close to train.
Well,
they're
It
gonna
says,
need
it says redevelopment sites in proximity to the active rail line.
I'm sorry, could I get that one more time?
we'll comply with the soundproofing provision in the redevelopment plan as it's written.
It's the entire.
The hours of exterior construction activity will be limited to 7 AM to 9 PM.
I think, isn't that controlled by ordinance?
It is, and
I don't know that it would, I don't imagine your ordinance actually allows 9 PM. I mean, I was looking at that
let's go
military
subject
time.
to the ordinance,
I think just, yeah, to your,
subject to our ordinance.
Yeah.
Applicant will provide mesh screening, which may include decorative signage covering during construction for the security and safety fencing on the north and west elevations. Owner will implement policies and practices regarding loading areas so as to guarantee that delivery vehicles do not back up to block Mount Airy Road, to continuously monitor either in person or remotely the loading area to determine if such blockage is occurring, and to take prompt action to alleviate such blockages and to adjust such policies and practices to avoid any further blockages in the event there are. Applicant will work collaboratively with the Borough Council and the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee to design, install, and maintain on the north wall 2 distinct historic markers, each at least 2 square feet in size, that describe the 2 buildings that will have been demolished. Applicant will allow the photographic documentation of the existing buildings prior to demolition. Owner will include and enforce the following terms in all residential leases: prohibiting the use of living space as additional bedrooms, prohibiting the charging of lithium-ion batteries for bikes, scooters, and similar uses in the apartments, prohibiting gas, wood, and charcoal grills and fire pits in the units or on the balconies, prohibiting the placement of clothing on balconies on the northwest street side exterior units. The driveway roll-down gate / door at the southwest corner will be normally closed. It will be remotely opened and closed and will not require any fees for loading space access. The applicant will be responsible for addressing implementation of waste hauling, including trash and recycling, all of which will be handled by way of private waste hauler at applicant's sole cost and expense. The stairs at the northeast corner of lower level 2, lower level 1, and the ground floor shall be exit only, except for residents who will have controlled access to same. The stairs at the southwest corner serving all floors shall be controlled access for residents only. When constructing the decorative chimneys, the applicant will consider making same cellular ready.
That's
You have that twice.
Yeah, because, we had the applicant's list and my list, so that was a duplicate.
Those 2
The more
stairways,
restrictive one will be enforced if there's an improvement.
those 2 stairways, they requested emergency exit only. We're talking
I'm sorry,
about
can I get that?
the 2 stairways, the one at the northeast corner and southwest corner. Somehow you're indicating that tenants will be able to open them from the outside. No,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
no, they're saying it's controlled.
yeah, Yeah, we're not sure why, Chairman. Why a resident could.
Security.
Well, if it's a controlled access for a resident, well, I'm not sure why there'd be a security concern. We're discussing, I'm just,
Simple and secure, you don't have anybody there. Securing this. So. So you're. As proposed, it was emergency exit.
I'm only giving you what's
As
stipulated.
As I.
yeah, I understand.
You're proposing,
I'm sorry, can I get that one more time? I'm sorry, I didn't know.
the recommendation that was sent to the applicant was that both of those stairwells. The emergency exit only.
Yeah,
The applicant. I guess modified that to suggest. That. Token residents, basically with key fobs, could use those stairs.
I mean, if I was a resident, wouldn't I wanna be able to get in through those stairs?
No,
But if
You
my
wouldn't.
car was downstairs.
you take the freight elevator down, if you're on one level, you take the primary
Yeah,
elevator down.
we've had a lot of discussions, I'm just trying to.
Yeah,
figure
no,
out-
no,
I would say it's more an issue of, it's, there's nobody monitoring that entrance.
right,
You can have kids that have it, they have friends, they have an
Proper.
unmonitored area that they can get into and do whatever they want. So, as egress only.
let's just leave it as the exit then, that's fine.
So you're stipulating to take out the except for residents who will have controlled access to same?
Yep.
Okay, as to both northeast corner and southwest corner, correct?
Trying to remember how the southwest corner works, because I think that's residents only. And it would be controlled access. Why don't we move on and just circle back on that one, let me just look at the plan real quick.
And again, this is just what's stipulated to. When, I did that, my apologies. Bernardsville Emergency Services will be able to open any controlled access doors as they may require. The stairs down from the courtyard to Mount Airy Road will be emergency exit only. The freight elevators
is that
serving,
okay? That. Okay.
the freight
Good with that,
elevators,
Chair.
third time's a charm. The freight elevators serving all floors will only be accessible to residents via controlled access. Yes, controlled access. Applicant will reserve 2 spaces in an appropriate location as determined by the applicant for deliveries such as DoorDash, Grubhub, and the like. At least one of the monuments on the survey needs to be discovered with an update to the survey. A little bit of an overlap there.
I think that's redundant.
What's that?
Did you just say that? That's a redundant,
Yeah, it's an overlap.
sorry.
Again, when there's an overlap, if there's an approval, I'm gonna pick the more restrictive. The applicant will permit emergency services turn in from Marshtown Road into the archway. This turn-in will have a lowered curb for easier mounting in an emergency. Such access is subject to the borough requesting NJ DOT permission for same. If approved by the NJ DOT based on the borough's request, applicant will continue to show no obstruction between the curb and the archway. Applicant will ensure emergency egress doorways and clearance in the gate under the archway, i.e. a crash door. The borough will obtain approval from NJDOT for this limited use police, fire, ambulance.
So that'll supersede the prior statement.
More detail.
More detail.
Gotcha.
Applicant will enumerate all life safety systems and building access systems, their method of power and their action in the event of utility power loss in accordance with all applicable statutory and regulatory building codes and requirements. I view that as supplemental to the emergency generator stipulation. Applicant has proposed a standby generator system to provide emergency service for life safety systems within the development, including emergency lighting and elevators. Applicant will ensure that the fully automated sprinklers will have at least a 20-minute capacity due to delayed response of the fire teams. Since automated sprinklers are deployed throughout the site, there is no requirement for the provision of areas of refuge. The sprinkler system will be designed to be capable of replenishment via standpipe locations approved by the Bernardsville Fire Department. Applicants will install a sign with a height limitation for vehicles entering the main driveway to ensure that they are below the minimum height of the garage levels. That's a duplication and only entering being, they're not gonna exit if they can't enter. To help ensure privacy and safety, the main pedestrian gates in the archway, the lobby doors, and main elevators will be accessed via controlled access, but can also be unlocked from each unit. The applicant will work collaboratively with the Borough Council to implement enhanced safety precautions at the pedestrian crosswalk east of the site. Applicant will implement any reasonable enhancement and or adjustment agreed to by and between the applicant and the Borough Council, subject to approval from any applicable outside agencies.
That was just continuation.
But, I'm sorry?
I'm assuming that was a continuation the last time.
Yeah, that was, yes, I had to turn the page. Had to lick my finger first. That is the last stipulated to application of condition that I have received from the applicant thus far. At least to that point, counsel for the applicant, we could reconfirm that all the aforementioned conditions are stipulated to by the applicant.
I agree. Why don't we keep going, because we were gonna look at that southwest corner. Just to confirm, I know that the chairman, would prefer that just to be emergency exit only.
But otherwise,
Otherwise,
stipulate to all of them.
otherwise we stipulate to all of those.
I got another one. The applicant will submit copies of DOT material as submitted
Agreed.
to the board, to the borough engineer, and to the borough traffic engineer. We'll give them the opportunity.
I'm sorry, I didn't,
Yeah, we can't have side conversations, so please speak
We'll have
loudly.
an opportunity to see how it changes as the DOT progresses.
Do you still stipulate to that?
Well, yes, we'll submit copies to whomever in the town. Or certainly board professionals, it's will be part of resolution compliance.
I had an earlier stipulation that the applicant will obtain DOT approval for the dark line, the setback line. Written approval, and that will be added to the survey or associated with the application.
The site distance,
What?
the site distance that we need.
No,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear this side, sorry.
The applicant's plan shows a dark line, which potentially are the setback lines. And it's very explicit, and I want DOT to approve that definition, what their setback is.
So
That the lines as depicted on the site represent the NJTO DOT official setback line.
You're talking about right of way.
Yeah.
It's a right of way line, it's probably right of way line.
He wants to confirm the right of way.
We have it from the county, they have it from the county.
Yeah.
'Cause they.
Sharon, I don't know. I'm not sure that the DOT is gonna write anything specific in that regard. We're gonna seek and obtain, or we have to obtain DOT approval. I don't know to what extent they would be that specific, Mr. Troutman, if you may. have a
I would
thought.
say under the survey item condition, lighting up the survey, part of that exercise would be researching DOT maps to establish.
No, that won't help you. No, DOT needs to see where they've defined on their plot and confirm that that is their agreed right-of-way line. It's not gonna be standard, it's not X distance from the center line of the road. So,
Agreed.
the point is, I don't have an issue with what they've selected. They have to get DOT to, in writing, agree that their survey accurately reflects the right of way from DOT's perspective.
So the typical exercise would be DOT has a documents unit that would establish through this area where their right-of-way line is, and their surveyor would have to use that document as a reference document in establishing that line.
And would that be part of what DOT would do anyway, exercising their jurisdiction over the roadway in connection with this project?
I think it's on the applicant to establish that line based on documents from DOT.
The applicant stipulate,
We will comply with all DOT requirements. I cannot stipulate that we're gonna get the DOT to write in some specific language about a dark line. They're gonna approve a plan ultimately. They are gonna have, I know part of it, they have the right of way people look at it. Et cetera. We're gonna obtain DOT approval. I cannot, there is no way I can get DOT to alter their procedures and to write something in. That's my only.
No, they must get DOT to do this, and if you can't, then you're gonna have to come and say, this is why we can't. The survey, your building placement is based on an assumption of the DOT right of way. And with no guarantee from DOT that that's their impression of where their right of way is.
But they're gonna approve the plan, and if their plan and our plans differ, then we are gonna have to come back before the board, will we not?
I think we're saying the same thing. DOT has a documents unit within them that establishes that line. As long as the applicant gets the document from DOT,
Right.
from their highway plans, that establishes that line, that will be the source document for that line.
And that's why somebody should be apprised of what's submitted to the DOT.
Yep.
So Bob, if we got that document, the DOT document that described where that line is,
Their calculations for what
Right.
that line is.
then that would be okay. I mean, if they're the ones, if the DOT supplies that document to the applicant, the
That's,
applicant then is putting that line on the drawings.
well, that's a separate thing. It's
Right, but I'm saying, like, if they can supply that document, that would be okay?
It cannot be applicant surveyor saying, this is what I've determined
Right.
DOT right
But the
away.
DOT's,
I'm sorry, if you could just talk one at a time, please.
the DOT document that states where that right of way would be,
That is
would be
correct.
sufficient.
Yes.
does the applicant stipulate to that revised conditions? So that
Yes.
the board doesn't have to impose it.
Yes.
Thank you. And hopefully everything's.
I know. Appreciate the comment.
Those are all the stipulated two conditions
Could
thus far.
I ask you to just repeat the one stipulation regarding utility control cabinets
specifically, I think you mentioned screening.
Oh, the hop,
Does that include the backflow prevention?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
I was asking if that included the backflow prevention device, which you call the hot pumps.
Yes,
My understanding, that's inside the building, because I don't see any place on this site to place it on the outside.
we weren't sure, we added hotbox just to cover it in the event
It's
that's.
not on the site plan.
Yeah.
so the expectation,
If it is on the site plan, I would think they should come back to the board to screen that. And how you want that to look,
Okay.
because that's a big steel structure.
Yeah, and that was my concern, Mr. Bradley, if the utility company asked them to move it outside the building, I wanted to make sure we didn't have the same problem that we had up the street. But if you're suggesting that they would come back instead,
Could it be written such that it would be subject, to review and approval by the borough planner and engineer, and if they are not comfortable with what's being proposed, it would then come to the board?
we've done something similar to that in the past. I assume if it's not a hot box, the backflow preventer interior, which doesn't need to be screened along with some sort of utility room or something.
Yes.
I'm learning. But in the event there is a hot box, we have in the past, allowed our our professional experts, to handle those things rather than, require board, approval for those types of things unless they feel they cannot handle it themselves. But that is sort of a standard operating procedure in land use law in the state of New Jersey. Every resolution compliance item doesn't require a trip back to the board to start all over.
I'm okay with it as long as it's screened. So I'm fine with them doing it.
If you trust your engineering plan.
They're smarter than me.
This, if there is a hot box, it's going to be in the front, either on Morristown Road, or it's gonna be on Mount Airy Road. It's gonna be in front of the building. No other place to put it, inside or outside. I don't know how you're gonna screen it. It's coming back here. Yeah, it's coming.
Okay.
Well, then
Saying that right now.
you can agree that it goes to the planner and engineer, and if they don't feel comfortable making the determination, it goes to the board. That's what the applicant just stipulated.
I'm okay with it. Yeah. Well. Are you okay with that?
I'm not.
I'm sorry,
That
yeah.
Bob will make the determination when he comes back.
Bob, right.
Bob,
Yeah.
right.
Trust you.
Yep. Agreed. Do I need to make a motion to extend the meeting another 30 minutes?
Somebody will see, but I think we're done with the stipulations unless
So
somebody.
you left out a bunch of lines, so I know.
And well, the board's gonna see if they can get some more out of the applicant. If not, we talk about whether the board can oppose it.
So I'll need to pull it by.
I think we've got to, carry. But you guys, I'm really not comfortable with not having the police report or fire report, which is our problem. No, yeah, so there are other stipulations that I've got.
Do you want to do all these stipulations tonight, so that the applicant?
I think that it gives people a break. I think that we can cover them at the next meeting.
Mine can only absorb.
I'm sorry, I can't hear the voice.
I just think, Karen, you saw it, right?
Are we on the record right now?
Yeah.
Sorry, because
Yeah.
I can't hear the board.
People need to speak loud and clear, not mumble, and one at a time. It's quasi judicial proceeding.
So just draw, well, how do you feel about carrying this?
I'm still on the old time, so I'm fine with it later.
I'm happy to carry it. I don't want to do that to the applicant, but I am uncomfortable that we don't have.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I apologize. I don't want to put it on the applicant that we have to carry, but I would like to. We don't have reports, I think. That's part of it that I'm just saying.
I think some of the additional, excuse me, be done. Some of the additional stipulations may require conversation. Some of the additional stipulations may require discussion, and I think that'd be better done with rested minds.
Oh,
I'm for not voting tonight.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I'm for not voting. I go with the group.
Anyway, you can see where we are.
Now, I see where you are. I do have a request. I know, we have scheduling conflicts for August the 8th, which will be the next meeting date. And then I know the next one is presumably the, what would that be, the 22nd? Any chance we could do a special meeting between the 8th and the 22nd? I don't know how the board's.
Yeah.
Why can't we do it on the 8th?
We've got scheduling, I
sorry,
got
I-
multiple
I-
scheduling conflicts, yeah.
I'm open because I can't be exclusive.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said I'm open to a different date. I won't be on the constant.
Is every week on the calendar as a potential?
No, only every other.
Well, not every other, the second and the fourth.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I mean.
it used to be years ago. We had every week, we had the alternate, weeks, potential special.
Scheduled meeting dates were only August 8th and August
No,
20th.
I know what.
22, is that correct, Denise?
I didn't say 22,
Which two
I
dates?
just said 2 meetings.
Why is not the 22nd?
But it's saying 8 and 22, is that correct? With this schedule.
It is 8 and 22, the second and the fourth.
Maybe the
What do
15th,
we have to do to have a special meeting on the 15th?
You have to notice this time. If the applicant's willing to.
I'm sorry, everybody's kind of talking at the same time.
They'll just keep happening. We have to provide notice, sunshine notice and, before the meeting, and then, we can carry to that date without further notice by the applicants, so long as we sunshine notice the meeting. Denise will explain to you how that works and how long she needs, but I suspect she has plenty of time.
Yeah.
If it's between August 8th and August 22nd.
Can everyone on the board make it on the 15th?
I can.
I can.
I think.
have a party first, it's our anniversary. 50 years.
whoa, yes.
That's still your preference?
July 15th.
August 15th. August 15th would be terrific if that works.
I'm on the wrong date.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, thank you.
let it be so.
Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, do we don't need do we need a motion?
No, what we're gonna, bear with me, no, we don't need a motion, but we do need to, well, yes, let's do a motion second and, a voice vote to confirm that we're gonna direct Denise to do the, sunshine notice, to schedule a meeting, a special meeting for August 15th. To the extent that the applicant needs to bear some additional costs, the applicant will do so. I don't know how the special meetings usually have to, they have to do something. Maybe not.
I don't know,
Whatever the protocols are for a special meeting.
Okay.
So I'll make the motion for a special meeting on Thursday, August 15th, 7:30.
We'll make it earlier.
Can you make it at 7? That was the recommendation.
It's a special meeting, you could schedule it for.
I'll let the chairman.
I prefer to keep it at 7.
So set at 7:30 with appropriate sunshine notice as directed by council.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing none passes. So then, this matter will be carried without further notice to a special meeting to be scheduled on August 15th. 7:30 PM. in the same municipal building. Look forward to seeing everyone.
Steve,
Chairman, just,
we all have it.
And the applicant give us.
oh, yeah, let's,
Through the end of the month of August.
yes,
Thank
yeah,
you.
I stipulate we extend the time to, August 31,
Thank you.
2024. Chairman, the, one question I do have just before we break, you know, we've obviously we've reached out affirmatively to the fire department. I don't know that we can't provide any guarantees that there are gonna be any reports, that come in from
We understand.
police or fire, that's my only comment.
No, we appreciate your, understanding that it's our problem.
Yeah, but if there's anything we can do or any more reach out, we'll do it. It's just,
Thank
we've done what we can.
Can we subpoena him?
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, everyone.
Oh, we might have more business.
You can leave. I think we're just adjourned.
Take an opportunity for any visitors that want to talk about something else. No executive session.
None.
Okay.
I'll save the good news for another.
Thanks, Denise.
Nice to meet you. Say hello to your parents.
Oh, I go.